Welcome back to another video for HarborFinancialOnline.com. Today I'm going to be talking about the child tax credit and how to use our calculator to see if you qualify for the credit. So let me get the video started and we'll go through this together. So if you have children under the age of 17 at the end of the year, you could qualify for a $1,000 tax credit per child. There's specific rules that you have to meet to qualify for this credit, but it's such a large credit it's worth looking at. And the difference between this and a deduction is that a deduction only gives you a percentage less paid tax. This is $1,000 right off your tax bill. So what it means is if say you owe $1,000 at the end of the year in tax, you're going to get $1,000 back by just getting this credit, or it can increase your refund by how many children you qualify for in this credit. So if you had 3 children, you're going to get $3,000 right there back as a credit. So it doesn't affect the exemptions you take for dependents. What I mean by that is on your return, you know how you report a number of exemptions for your children. By taking this credit will have no effect on that. So you're still going to get the deduction for the exemptions you take for each child. So don't worry about that. You can use our online calculator to see if you qualify for this credit and how much it's going to be at HarborFinancialOnline.com. It's free, it's easy to use, and it's an instant calculator. It's going to give you instant results, and we have all the information for the tax credit on there. To get the tax credit, child tax credit, you can file Form 1040, 1040A, or Form 1040NR. So it's not just limited to the regular 1040. You can't qualify for the credit using 1040EZ or 1040NREZ. So that's the shortened tax form. You can't use that. If you're used to using that in the past, you're going to have to do the long form this year if you want to get the credit. But it's worth the time to do the longer form and get this credit because it's such a big credit. At our site, HarborFinancialOnline.com, you can prepare the return online. So even though you may be using the longer form this year, it's not going to be any different because if you do it online, they're going to prepare the form for you. You don't have to worry about that. For each child that you're reporting for the credit, you have to provide the full legal name and a valid social security number. This is where a lot of people might screw up, is they end up just in error putting the wrong social security number in there. And what will happen is when that's submitted to the IRS, that number is not going to match up to anyone, so you're going to get disqualified for the credit. So make sure that doesn't happen. Also, I want to bring up, if you're divorced, both of you can't claim the same child, so you have to agree on who's going to claim the child. If both of you do it, both are going to get rejected, so make sure you don't do that. You'll be using Form 8812 for this. If you don't prepare it online, you'll have to fill out this form yourself, and I'm going to show it to you. And then what you have to do before that form is fill out a worksheet that's going to see if you qualify for the credit. But you can do it all online and skip those steps. Now, for IRS rules, a child is considered someone who lived with you for the whole year. They do allow some absences, such as school, medical stays, or juvenile stays. This, as long as it's reasonable and you have documentation and proof of this, they're going to allow it, so you don't have to worry about that. Also allowed are children of divorced parents or separated parents. What I mean by this is, say you went through a divorce or a separation and your kids had to go live with someone else for a while. They're not going to disqualify you because of that. As long as you have a reasonable, that's all it comes down to, is having a reasonable explanation, some kind of documentation, some kind of proof. You may have to have that person that they stayed with write a letter or something if they question it. So just make sure you have your support in place. The credit is decreased for married couples who file jointly and earn over $110,000. So you're not going to get the full $1,000 if you're in that range. And if you're a really high income earner, you're going to get completely phased out of this credit. It's decreased for single filers as well if you make 75,000 or more. Now again, if that shoots up a lot higher than that 75,000, most likely you're going to get completely phased out and not qualify for the credit. Because this credit is designed more for medium to lower income people. And there are requirements on how much you have to earn to even get the credit. I'm pretty sure it's at 3,000 right now. You have to earn at least 3,000 to get the credit. I'm going to take you to our site and then to the form 8812 and show that to you guys real quick. Here's our site, harborfinancialonline.com. You can use the estimator calculator to see what your refund might be, how much tax you might owe when you get ready to prepare the return. It's a great little tool we have, and it incorporates all the new tax laws and rules out there to see what you might qualify for as far as credits and deductions. Now we have a page just devoted to child tax credit, and it basically is going to cover all the stuff I just talked about, but maybe into a little more detail. So I recommend checking out this page if you want to see some examples that we have in here of the credit. So harborfinancialonline.com, you can prepare the return or just use the calculator if you want. Okay. So let's go now to form 8812. If you don't prepare the return online, this is the form you're going to have to fill out. And you can see it gets pretty complex. You have a lot of boxes and sections you have to fill out. Now you can file for the credit if you have 3 or more children. So there's no limit on this. You can, if you have 5 children, you can still qualify and get the credit for each, and that could be $5,000 credit that you're going to receive. If you do the return online, it's going to put in all these forms, all these boxes, and enter each amount in. And if you don't qualify for it, it's going to let you know, and it'll stop you right there. And any mistakes you make filling it out, if they're seeing that some of the numbers aren't right, then it's going to do an error check and let you redo it until you do get it right. So let me get the video started again. So again, we have those income rules. So if you're a high earner, you might not even want to bother with the credit. It's more for medium to lower income. If you have any questions about the credit, send me an email, expert@harborfinancialonline.com. I'll answer any questions you guys have about this credit or other credits. There's lots of changes to the tax law out there right now, so I'll be glad to help you guys out. Thanks for watching the video. You can prepare the return this year at harborfinancialonline.com, and hopefully you'll check out some of my future videos. Thanks.